Today we're going to be taking a look at a 3D video of King's Dominion. This was a trip with me and my coworkers who invited me out randomly, and I said yes. I don't know why, but I do know why, because I sit in my room too much and I need to get out of the house more and leave my room and go out and do adventure type stuff, and this is what we get. And I said, hey, you know what? If I'm going to go out, I might as well make a video out of it. And I asked them if that was alright, and they were completely fine with it, so hell yeah. The ride you're looking at now is the Intimidator 305, so called because it is based off the late Dale Earnhardt, or it could be Junior, I don't remember which one, I'm so sorry. And his nickname on the racetrack, of course, was the Intimidator because of his racing style. This ride had to famously be changed, altered. The first turn was too intense and it was causing many of the passengers to black out. So that was something that was not great when the ride came out initially. Came out like it's a movie. When the ride first was opened, it was not great, and it really hasn't recovered. This ride, from what I understand, kind of has a negative reception, I guess. Negative reputation, I think is the better word. But it is the biggest, most intense ride in the park, if I am to be believed, if my information is correct. And the 3D is kind of poopy when I'm walking around with the cameras. It does really well when it's sitting down. The opening shot of this, when it's just looking straight at the ride, looks really nice. And these shots as well. This was me trying to get the cameras as close together as I possibly could. Someone did mention that the parallax wasn't as deep as they thought it was going to be, considering how far apart my cameras seem to be. But it's pretty deep. I think it's decently deep. It's kind of hard to tell from hand-picked screenshots, things that I tailor make to look as good as they can be. Not that the video doesn't look good. I mean, maybe it doesn't look good. I don't know. There's a lot of ghosting in this right now. I could have probably moved some of this stuff a little bit closer, but you also do get more of a feeling of actually being there. Wish the camera movements weren't so jerky as well, but what can you really do after the fact? It's not like a movie production where you can plan out every single movement and all the parallax and how much stuff comes out of the screen goes behind the screen. Like, I can alter that sort of thing, like the horizontal offset, and pull things out or push things back into the screen, but that's basically all I can do. The 3D is really dependent on what I shoot on the day. In fact, the first thing I shot was unusable. One of the cameras was slightly zoomed in, and I don't know how that happened because I obsessively checked to make sure they're not zoomed in or they're both zoomed out all the way, but I guess I missed it the first time. But fortunately, the rest of them were usable. You know, if you go through this video, you'll probably see a lot of people giving me strange looks, and understandable, the camera rig does look very odd. This was the first ride I ended up getting on, Arachnidia. It's a fun twister ride. And for those of you who know King's Dominion, you'll know that right there used to be the volcano, but it is now a pile of gravel. And I know a lot of people are pretty upset about that. The volcano was a prolific ride. One of the biggest in the park. It was very well known, very well loved, and they took it out and there's nothing there anymore. Just this research center, which I'm pretty sure was just the building that housed the trains for the ride. And we're getting ready to turn around just a moment. Look at this foliage, looks really nice. This ride, I don't even remember what it's called, but I know that I always call it the Tomb Raider ride. It's like called the Crypt, I think, but it's gone now. It's that big ride, and to be quite honest, it kind of looks ugly, but whatever. What else are you going to fit in that space? Can't really fit much there. As far as coasters, you could probably fit a nice flat ride in there. Here's Reptilian. This is my favorite ride in the park, one of my favorite rides of all time. It's a bobsled coaster. It's a lot of fun. I did get an opportunity to ride it. and either the ride's getting too old or I'm getting too old, but man, I really felt the forces on it. But I still had a good time. I'm glad I decided to get on. It's good stuff. It's literally the same ride, by the way. It used to be called the Avalanche. It was painted all white, and the coaster cars were just bobsleds, and they had like flags from other countries on them, and also the US, of course. It was like a Winter Olympic sport thing, but all these things, all these rides over here didn't really have consistent theming. I guess Mountain was like the theming, because you have the volcano, and then you have this ride, the Avalanche, which also, you know, is a mountain, and I'm not really sure how the crypt themes in the mountains. Maybe the crypt is inside of a mountain, but now it's just themed to this thing called Expedition, and it is kind of bizarre to wrap your head around. Oh, there goes the new trains going up. They're not new, they're just repainted. But the Expedition theming's really weird, because they have fake characters. Like, they have these characters they made up, mixed with actual real facts about animals and insects, and it's just kind of confusing. It's like, okay, so what's real, what's not? I had to send a picture to my I guess my previous manager. He has lots of spiders, he like breeds them, he has them as pets. I'm like, hey, is this spider fact real? Is this a real thing? And he was like, yeah, it's a real spider. But the people are not real. I'm pretty certain they're not real. Maybe they are. I'm sorry to all the people that I think aren't real that might be real on those plaques. Hopefully the 3D is deep enough for you guys. So the closer you have the cameras together, the more shallow the 3D is going to be. I actually think it looks really good. I do want to get closer to natural vision, I guess. Like, the distance between your eyes is about 2.5 inches, and the cameras aren't quite that close, but they're close enough. They're as close as I can get them. And honestly, it is a little bit hyper stereo, maybe a lot of it hyper stereo, but this more or less looks like how it looks when you're actually there at the park, though a little bit more extreme. It's also a little bit more thrilling seeing it on a screen that's supposed to be flat. It's really interesting editing these videos, because I have the anaglyph glasses on the whole time, and then I'll look at my second screen and I'll be like, why is this so flat? Like, I'll have a video on or like a live stream on, and I'm like, why is this so flat? Where is the depth? I didn't even notice that I had the little metal tray there coming out of the screen. Also decided to put like fades in, because having the hard cuts just is kind of rough, and having the cameras fade from one shot to the other, it makes it easier to look at. Here we're coming up on a ride called Anaconda. So there's 2 reptilian-based rides in this area. Got a snake ride. You have another ride, the reptilian, which is, well, it's about a crocodile. They call it reptilian. I forget the lore behind it. Something about there being like some weird crocodile alligator ride inside of a forgotten temple. I don't really know. Here's some foliage for you guys. Here's some Coca-Cola product placement. Not sponsored by Coke, but if they want to hit me up to do like a 3D Coke commercial, sure, we could probably come up with something fun. That ride back there is the Backlot Stunt Coaster. You're not going to see it in this part, but maybe the next part you'll see a little bit of it. I think you definitely probably see a little bit of it. I don't know why I keep phrasing everything so weirdly right now. And we are headed back to where we started, the Paranormal and the Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. I believe that's what that is. That ride's actually called Flight of Fear. It's right next to the Intimidator. The theming at King's Dominion, like the individual rides are themed pretty well, but you put like a monument to a beloved race star next to the conspiracy alien ride, and it just kind of doesn't really mesh. It's just weird. But the theming itself is nice. Like, the building looks really nice here, and of course the Intimidator theming, which unfortunately was lost because I freaked the 3D up. Looks really nice too.